Hello everyone and welcome to the first official race of Apex Hunter Motorsports. We're here in Belgium in Spa Francorchamps, a 7-kilometer long track with 2 DRS zones and 20 corners. We're going to be taking a look at the first part of qualifying here, where we're going to see our drivers try to get the fastest time to place up on the grid. As we look at the end of Q1 here, we see the track already in a pretty good state, and we see Nathan Kind rounding the final corners here at Spa, and he just takes a spin, which unfortunately ends his run. And at the start of Q2, we're looking at Shade Bruffett here crossing the line to do a 142.4, which is going to put him up to P4. Looking over at the front of the grid, we see Leon Flukeiger entering the last quarters of the track here, and he is going to cross the line with a 142.1, which puts him on pole position. Edith Killian goes pretty close behind him and is about to take the line at a 142.209. And finally, Justin Carrizosa is about to cross the line in the final parts of qualifying here to get a 142.210. And as we look to our starting grid, we got Flukeiger in first, Killian in second, Carrizosa in third, Bruffett in fourth, Delaringa in fifth, Grothies in sixth, Morris in seventh, Samad in eighth. And we have Krantz in ninth, Crooks in 10th, McGough in 11th, Marino in 12th, Atkinson 13th, Hinchcliffe 14th, Donahue 15th, Sunny 16th, Kint in 17th, Doyle in 18th, Wu in 19th, and Lawler in 20th. And for tire strategy, we're looking at a one-stop strategy for each, with the mediums pitting at around 21 laps for softs, and softs pitting at about lap 13 for mediums. And as we look toward the start of our race here, we see a Leon Flukeiger getting away very well. Seems like the others in the grid are getting away very well as well. A little bit of a slowdown at the T1 here, and we see quite a few different tire compounds right off the jump, so there are going to be little variations in tire strategy, so it's going to be very interesting to see how this unfolds. Those hard tires are going to take quite a little bit longer to warm up, but we should expect them to see some decent pace as the race goes on. And as we go up Eau Rouge and Radion here, we do see a few cars either going off track or spinning out, and we do see Seb Marino under a little bit of pressure here from Jeffrey Lawler, who started at the back of the grid. And as we catch up with our race leader here, Leon Flukeiger still has a very commanding lead at the start here, rounding their way through the track, about to approach Pouan, which is one of the most high-speed corners on this track. And it looks like the top 10 are getting away very well. All the drivers seem to be maintaining position. Still, a few of those drivers that are on the hard tires might be finding it a little bit difficult at this part of the race to try to get temperature into those tires and keep everything under control, as we do see KH Donahue starting on those hards. Looks to have some decent pace through here, currently in 15th position, and we are rounding the final few corners here in Sector 2 as we catch up with Brock Morris and Brian McGough. And as we look towards that Jimmy Crooks and Mark Samad here, we're going to see Shade Bruffett and Luca Delaringa go head-to-head into the bus stop, but it looks like Delaringa is just going to have that extra pace with those soft tires and keep the position. And we're on board for the battle for P6 as Mark Samad leads Grothies, leads Krantz as we go up Eau Rouge and Radion. As we're on lap 2, we're not going to get DRS down the Kemmel Straight, but they are very close to one another as they go 3 wide down the Kemmel Straight. Now, most of our overtakes are going to occur at this part of the track, as it is a DRS zone as well, as we see Grothies getting past really well as he goes deep into that corner and leads. And we're on board with Harry Krantz, who has a little bit of pressure from Jimmy Crooks right behind him as they are entering the bus stop here at Spa. And it looks like they're going to go side by side through a little bit slowly, which allows Brian McGough to catch up behind them, but great racing and great spatial awareness from both of them. And we have Jeffrey Lawler also catching up to the back of Brian McGough here, as it looks like Krantz and Crooks are going side by side still, but it looks like Lawler takes the inside line of the T1 and makes that move stick. Krantz and Crooks still battling it out here as they look to be going almost side by side through Eau Rouge, but it looks like Krantz just takes the lead ahead of Crooks. It looks like Crooks might be playing some games here as he is waiting for that DRS, since we are on lap 3 as they cross the detection zone. Crooks does get that DRS down the Kemmel Straight, which is going to give him a few kilometers extra, and it looks like he does make that move happen well before the breaking point of that turn. Krantz and Lawler still fighting it out in lap 3 here as they make their way towards the bus stop, and it looks like Krantz still might be ahead at this point, but Lawler goes a little bit deeper and does the old switcheroo, and it looks like he has position coming down the straight here, as we do see both of them getting DRS. and it is going to be a fight into T1. Lawler takes the outside, Krantz the inside, and it looks like they are going to go side by side, but Krantz just misses out. Catching up with Samad and Grothies here, as Samad does look like he has DRS on Grothies down the Camel straight, and it looks like Samad does break a little bit deeper. Grothies gives him the space, and Samad takes the position. Jasper is still hanging out pretty close behind Mark, but Crooks is coming up quick into the turn here as we go through the hairpin, and it looks like Crooks is all over the back of Jasper as he is struggling a little bit on those hard tires, and Jasper just takes a little bit of gravel, which allows Crooks to get closer behind him. As we go into Pouan, it looks like Jasper does give him the room to get by. As we look towards Lawler and Grothies here, it looks like Lawler is going to try to get the run down Jasper into turn 1, and he does choose that inside line again, which forces Jasper wide. Does make that move stick, and it looks like Jasper and Lawler do have a little bit of contact. I don't think either of them have any damage though. As we look to go up Eau Rouge and Radion here, Jasper is still hanging out very close behind, and it looks like both of them might be getting DRS when they cross this detection zone, and they do. Looks like Lawler is defending the inside, which forces Jasper to the outside, and as we race down toward the end of the straight here, Lawler is going to take that position and keep it, but Jasper's still very close behind him, but also Brian McGough is very close behind both of them, which allows Harry Krantz to get all up inside the turn here. Tries to go for the move, but it looks like McGough still does keep the position. Little incident in Pouan here as we see Morris and Atkinson going side by side. There is a bit of contact which causes Morris to lose a wing but keep it out of the wall. On board with Crooks and Samad here as they are rounding the final corners of the lap, and Samad is going to take the inside into the bus stop and defends nicely into the corner, but Crooks is still very close behind, still biding his time as he is going to get DRS down this straight as well as the next. And as we do see them go up Eau Rouge and Radion here, Crooks is going to get the benefit of that DRS, but Lawler is very close behind both of them as well. Samad tries to cover the inside, but Crooks does have the speed advantage here and does make the pass very cleanly. Lawler does manage to catch up to Samad later in the lap as he takes the inside through Blanchimont, another very high speed corner in this track here, and it looks like Samad is going to give him the room rather than go too wide into the bus stop as well. Lawler catches up to Crooks as they go up Eau Rouge and Radion here. He is going to get the benefit of DRS, and he has blistering pace on those medium tires. And as that rear wing opens, you see the extra speed advantage that Lawler gets over Crooks, and it looks like it's an easy pass into the turn. And we see Grothies getting punted into T1 by Brian McGough, but it looks like he doesn't have that much damage and manages to get back onto the track. On board with Atkinson and Krantz as they look to go side by side up Eau Rouge and Radion, and this is brilliant racing between the two of them. Lots of respect for these guys going up there, very clean. Krantz manages to get ahead, but Atkinson is going to come back at him with the DRS to see that rear wing open, adding a little bit of extra speed to him, but it looks like Krantz just manages to hang on to that position. De La Ringa, currently in 4th position, unfortunately takes a spin through the corner here. Lawler does well to avoid him, and so does Crooks. On board with Sonny and Liam Doyle as Sonny is getting closer and closer to the back of Liam Doyle's car as they enter the braking zone at the bus stop, and it looks like there is a bit of contact between the two. On board with Harry Krantz and Brian McGough for the battle for P7 here as they enter the bus stop and go towards the braking zone. It looks like McGough is going to defend the inside of the corner and Krantz is going to take the outside. And it looks like Krantz does make the move stick, but gets a little bit hairy on the exit of that corner there. We see McGough still in front here, defending the inside into T1. Krantz looks to try to make the switcheroo, and he does get very close to the back of McGough's car out of T1, but Willie Atkinson is joining the fray too, as both of them might be getting DRS into the Camel Straight. As we go up Eau Rouge and Radion here, Krantz is very close behind, which gives him a very good chance of passing. Side by side now, and Krantz's rear wing does open, but Willie Atkinson's does as well, so it looks like it's going to be a battle into the end of the straight here, and Atkinson is right beside McGough, which gives him the position. On board with Donahue as he is catching McGough through Blanchimont as they enter the bus stop here, and it looks like Donahue's going to be trying to take the outside of the corner, and he does make it work, and he takes that position, and McGough goes into the pits. Looking over at Nathan Kint versus Liam Doyle into T1. Kint is very close behind. It looks like he's on a fresh set of hard tires here, and they are going to be racing up Eau Rouge and Radion as he gets very close beside him through the quarters here, but it looks like Liam Doyle is just going to give him that space. Krantz goes a bit deep into the bus stop, and he has to go into the runoff area, which allows Willie Atkinson to close in on him just a little bit more, as we do see that rear wing open down the straight. Willie Atkinson is going to get that inside line and keep the position ahead of Harry Krantz. Krantz still very close behind Willie Atkinson here. He's trying to hang on as best as he can, even with that dirty air, to try to get DRS on the Kemmel straight. And as they make it up Eau Rouge and Radion, we see Krantz just that little bit closer, and as he tries to take that outside line to try to force Willie Atkinson on the inside, he does get that rear wing open and get the benefit of DRS. So we make our way to the end of the straight, and he keeps the position. Lawler on a new set of soft tires is hunting down Harry Krantz down the Kemmel straight. He has that DRS benefit as well, which allows him to get very close, but Krantz does keep the position but goes a bit wide, which allows Lawler to come in and take the position back. Lawler making his way through the field catches up with Mark Samad in the battle for P3 here, but Lawler does have the fresher tires as he pitted for those softs about 4 laps ago. Samad is still on 18-lap old mediums, and it looks like Lawler does have the benefit of those tires to make the easy move. On board now with Doyle and Grothies as we make our way through the bus stop here, and it looks like Grothies is going to get all up on the back of Doyle's car as he does get DRS down this straight. Grothies moves towards the inside into T1 here, and it looks like Doyle does give him the space for Jasper to make that move. On board now for the battle for P8 between Seb Marino and Harry Krantz, as Krantz is getting very close behind Marino and is going to get the benefit of that DRS down the straight. As it goes side by side, it looks like this is going to be a very easy move for Krantz, and he does get the move done into the corner. Seb Marino under pressure from Brian McGough, who just pitted for a fresh pair of softs as we're moving through Blanchimont here, and McGough is going to have the benefit of that more grippy tire as we go through these high-speed corners, but McGough does go very wide in the Blanchimont here, which allows Seb to remain in the lead in front of him, but it looks like Seb and Krantz are going to the pits. On board for the battle for P5 as we have Crooks versus Donahue. Donahue is on 20-lap old hard tires, and we do have Jimmy Crooks who's on 3-lap old softs, and Crooks is going to have the benefit of that more grippy and new tire into the bus stop here as we do see Donahue in front, but Crooks very late on the brakes get past. Donahue on those old hards goes down the bus stop, and it looks like he locks up just a little bit and takes a spin into the corner, which allows Brian McGough to get past him. Following Donahue's spin to the bus stop, Samad was able to close the gap just a little bit more, and he does get DRS down the Kemmel straight as he is approaching the back of Donahue's car, and as you see him cut to the inside here, he does use late braking to get past Donahue. And as we approach the end of the Grand Prix, we see Leon Flukiger crossing the line to take the win at the Belgian GP. Close behind him, we see Justin Carrizosa taking P2 behind him at 4.3 seconds back. And to finish our podium positions, Jeffrey Lawler takes P3 in this race.